And now, ladies and gentlemen, if I may ask for a volunteer from the audience to come up here on stage to check that the beautiful Princess Tara is both securely handcuffed and blindfolded before she enters the cabinet of knives. Just one volunteer, that's all I needed. A round of applause for the gentleman. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Nice round of applause. You're a good sport, sir. And now, sir, what is your name? Bob. Senor Bob. Good, good. Now, we have never met before, no? Good. Would you like to check the handcuffs on Princess Tara's wrists for me to make sure they are secure? And the blindfold, you happy with the blindfold, sir? Good. Now, before the princess steps inside the cabinet, would you care to check that there is no way out? No false panels, no levers of any kind. And have a good look around, sir. All the way around. There, sir. No way out for the princess, eh? You're quite satisfied. Good, 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 good. Now, Princess Tara, it is time for you to enter the cabinet. Thank you, my princess. Very good, very good. Good night, my princess. 2 bolts to secure the door. And 1 padlock. Now, sir, would you be so kind as to lock the padlock for me? Thank you very much, sir. Make sure it is tightly secure. Good, no, you keep the key. Put it in your pocket, please. Thank you very much. And now, I will make the Princess Tara disappear into thin air. Now, I know what you are thinking, that she has already gone, huh? Well, let us just see. There, Princess, you're still there, huh? Tightly secured. But in just 2 seconds before your very eyes, I will make her disappear. And to prove it, I will thrust this razor-sharp sword into the cabinet. 1, 2! God, blimey, she's still in there. It's only the tabs, quick! Hey, come on, open the lock for God's sake.
Right, welcome back to WHODUNNIT. You have just seen the amazing Zeppelini on stage. Zeppelini, of course, has one thing in common with Tommy Cooper: his tricks don't work. Mind you, Tommies aren't supposed to work. And before you all shout, open the box, I can promise you Princess Tara is dead. Now, fortunately for her, however, we have a magical-looking panel this week to help identify her assassin. First, a lady who I should have to introduce very politely, because she's always playing such posh ladies. Molly Sugden. And just back this morning from a desert island with a tattered book and 8 very worn records, Roy Plumley. And our 2 residents, the lady who got it completely right last week, Lisa Goddard. And the man who, if he gets it wrong, it's a miracle, Patrick Mower. Let's now return to the backstage of a small northern nightclub who, as far as I can see, are now 1 act short for tomorrow night. Somebody is bound to be lying, so watch out. Detective Inspector Spencer and Sergeant Ross have started their investigations, and so far, Zeppelini is their chief suspect. After all, we did see him stick the sword in before your very eyes.
Let's get this straight, Mr. Willis.
I would prefer to be called by my stage name, Zeppelini, if you do not mind, Sergeant.
It's Inspector, Mr. Zeppeloni. Anyway, you were the only person on stage, apart from that gentleman over there.
Ah, yes, but he was just a member from the audience. I've never seen him before in my life.
Yes, I can tell he's not a pro, sir. He's taking it very badly. So, the only other people backstage were the stage manager. Now, that's...
That's me. That's Tony Babington. I run all the entertainments here, and that's my assistant, Mary Jackson.
And I'm Dorothy Willis, Inspector.
Yeah, she's just Zeppelini's wife. Look, we were all over here by the lighting control.
You ready, Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Great trick, Mr. Zeppeloni. I've been trying to get rid of Sergeant Ross for years. So, this is where Tara should have been when you thrust the swords in.
Well, you see, Inspector, I thought she was already behind the back panel there, you see. I mean, she gave me a green light, you know.
A green light?
Yeah, well, look, I'll explain. You see, now somebody had switched those bulbs over. Now, the one on the right should be green, And the one on the left, red.
Hey, I'd like to have a look at those bulbs.
Yeah, Doc, screwdriver. Now, as soon as Tara gets into the cabinet, she releases the handcuffs. Then she takes this radio remote controller from inside her costume, see?
May I ask where she hides it?
Yeah, in the left cup. Then she switches it on. This gives me a red. That means she's out of the bracelets. Then she gives me a green, which means she's in the back. Yeah. Where your sergeant is.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Ross, you can come out now.
Sir, I have a theory.
Look, sir.
Not now, Ross. So, because someone had switched the bulbs over, you saw a green light too early.
That's right, yeah.
Ross, check those bulbs for dabs.
Right, sir.
Anyway, don't you check your equipment before each show?
Well, of course I do. I check it every night during the interval, just before I go on. Well, that's about, well, just before 10 o'clock. Come on, Nancy, we're running late.
Oh, don't fuss me, doll. I've been doing it with you for 6 months and I'm hardly likely to get it wrong in me last week. Handcuffs off. Red coming up.
Right.
Oh, the marvels of science. One day, this radio remote control thing will go wrong and I'll get top of the pops.
Top of the what?
Oh, never mind, doll. You stick to Radio 4.
Look, come on, love.
Right. I'm in the back. Green coming up.
You pressing green?
Yes, doll. Of course I am.
Dot, green's not working. Got a screwdriver.
Don't fuss, doll. Course I have.
No, not this big one, Tony. It's too big for this little screw. So we had to buy a special one. You know what I mean? This little screw's so fiddly.
Oh,
Can I go now, doll? Finish my makeup?
No, you can't. It's your life. You stay and see it works.
Don't bother me if the green light don't work. It'll just leave you standing in the middle of the stage with your sword in your hand.
Just because you're my husband's
Oh,
assistant.
sorry,
you need
Mrs. Willis.
Right. Now test it.
Thank God for that. Come on, we're running late. Put the screw back for us, will you, Doc?
Yeah, I know. Routine security.
Come on, Princess. Chop, chop. So, to the best of my knowledge, everything was working and the bulbs were the right way round.
What's Princess Tara's real name?
Nancy. Nancy Thompson.
Excuse me, sir. The fingerprints on these bulbs, negative.
Negative.
Yes, sir. That means there are none at all.
But there must be.
Now, you put the new green bulb in,
Yes.
and then you screwed the front back on again?
Yes. No. I remember now. I didn't screw it in this evening.
Come on, Princess. Chop, chop.
Here. You ain't screwed the front on a light box.
I don't know why Fred fusses so about routine.
Yeah, you're right. If he is that fussy, why don't you look after it yourself?
Oh, I don't mind. I was in the act with him when I was younger and slimmer, so I know the equipment backwards. Still get a bit of a thrill being backstage.
Good.
Well, I must press on. Has your England football match started yet?
Yeah, they kicked off 7:45. Won all the last I heard. I'll get the result on the news at 10.
Well, I'll be rooting for them. I must go and get those rabbits ready. You wouldn't believe after all these years it still takes us 3 minutes to get 6 rabbits hidden in Fred's coat.
Well, you better get a move on then. Hang around here much longer, you'll have 2 dozen to load up.
5 minutes to go, Mrs. Willis.
Thank you, Mary. We only just made it as the rabbits were a bit frisky.
That left you two alone over here by the lighting console.
Yeah, I was just chatting with Mary about the size of the audience tonight.
And the new singer we booked here
Yeah.
next week.
Oh, no, you weren't.
No, sir.
No. They weren't just passing the time. Not by a long chalk.
You're the volunteer from the audience, aren't you, sir? Mr.
Thompson. Bob Thompson.
And you claim that... Thompson? You any relation to the deceased, Nancy Thompson?
I'm her husband.
Welcome back to what appears to be a very simple problem. The amazing Zeppelini, real name Fred Willis, has accidentally, well, I presume accidentally, killed Princess Tara, who is really Nancy Thompson. Now, Fred's wife, Dottie, and she wasn't given that name for nothing, left a screw loose while Tony Babington, the stage manager, is more interested in the England v Wales football match. Anyway, his screwdriver is too big, or is it? Now, the volunteer from the audience turns out to be the husband of the murdered girl. Did he switch the bulbs? What bulbs? What the devil am I talking about? See if you can unravel it, Inspector. I'll catch you up later.
I suppose you're going to tell me it's pure coincidence you were here tonight.
Well, it's no coincidence that I came here. When Nancy left me just over a year ago, I moved back up here. When I saw the posters, I came in to see how she was.
Did you get to speak to him?
No, I didn't. That's why I volunteered to come up on stage and help out with a trick. At least that way I could be near her.
So that was why you only whispered your first name. You didn't want her to know it was you.
Aye.
I've had a theory, sir.
Oh, God.
Now, it appears to me that this gentleman, Mr. Thompson, could be part of the act. A regular plunt.
How dare you? Do you think the great Zeppelini would cheat his audience, eh?
You can't prove that, sir, can you?
I can. I was in the audience last night, and a young lady helped out then.
Just a theory, sir.
I'm dealing in facts. Yes. Well, Mr. Thompson, you claim you overheard what Mr. Babington and Miss Jackson were talking about. That means you must have come backstage during the interval.
I didn't get this far. I came through that door looking for my wife. But these two were already here.
Five minutes to go, Mrs. Willis.
Thank you, Mary.
Have you done anything about it yet?
Hang on, love, just checking me lighting cues.
Never mind checking them. Have you checked she's got proof?
Yes. And she has. Look, unless we cut her in for 50%, she's going to go to the law.
Oh, for God's sake, Tony, give it to her then.
I can't, I ain't got it. If I cream off any more, Big Eddie's going to notice, and then never mind the law. I'm taking my measurements for a concrete overcoat.
Well, in that case, the lovely Princess Tara will have to be dethroned.
With what? Pot of green paint?
Tony, she means it.
Oh, come on, darling. Hey, I'm working on it, know what I mean? Come on, you're not going to paint something now, are you? Just before curtain up?
Oh, no. Just been touching up that steamroller from the dog act.
Bah, you better get a move on. It's time to call a Zep.
How long have we got?
About 3 minutes.
Well, that's just time for me to get you a beer from the bar.
I realized it was too late to see Nancy before the show. So I went back to my seat in the audience.
Well, Mr. Babington, who is this Big Eddie?
He's the owner of the club.
And how long have you been skimming his cream?
3 years or so.
And Nancy Thompson found out and was blackmailing you?
Yes, she was, but it's nothing to do with Mary.
Oh, it's perfectly natural for lovers to defend each other, sir.
What?
Those bulbs look about the same size as the ones Mr. Zeffirelli uses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're the same size. We've got a whole box of them down there, but none of them's red or green.
Fingerprints, please.
Oh, don't worry. My prints all over this stuff. It's my toolbox, you see.
Sergeant Ross, this small screwdriver, check it for prints.
Right, sir.
So where exactly did you go when you left Mary here?
Oh, like I said, I went to give the Zeppelins their final call.
I'll get you a beer from the bar.
Stand by, Zep.
Oh, don't you ever knock before coming into a lady's dressing room?
No, I don't. And I'd like to see you after the show.
It's all right, doll. It's only business.
Not getting jealous, are we, Fred?
Turn it up, Dot. How long we got, Tony?
3 minutes.
3 minutes? Come on. Right, Buddy's in, quick.
Then, I went to TV room. Yeah. England won. 2-1. Last minute goal, you know, it's on the news at 10. Then I watched a recording of the match on the other channel, till curtain up.
Yes, that would have given you about 2 minutes of football.
Yeah. Yeah, I left when Trevor Brooking got fouled just outside the penalty area. Go. Yeah. You can check on the time on that.
We will, sir, we will.
His screwdriver has no fingerprints on it, sir, but I have a theory.
It's all right, Sergeant. I didn't expect any prints.
Yeah, what about mine? Yeah, somebody's wiped it clean, hasn't they? like them bulbs.
Excuse me, sir. Is that a TV remote control device?
Yeah.
I see your theory, sir, yes. You're thinking that device might have been adjusted to work the green bulb here.
No, you were thinking that, Sergeant. You stick to it.
What, green bulbs?
No, theorising about fingerprints.
Oh,
Now, Miss Jackson, what happened to this glass of beer you were going to get from the bar just before the show?
Well, I started to go to the bar, and then I decided to go to the ladies out front.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was quite busy. You know what it's like just before a show. I just didn't have time to go to the bar. I'm sure someone could verify they saw me.
Did you know anyone?
No, they were just customers.
Look, Inspector, I'm just my wife is very tired. Do you think I could take her home now?
Well, I don't see why not, sir, do you? After all, they haven't even got a motive.
No motive! Listen, Inspector. 2 nights ago, when they were checking their equipment, I happened to overhear something.
Now, Green.
Fine.
I'm going back to the dressing room now, doll.
OK. Won't be a minute, Princess.
Won't be a minute, Princess. Look, don't think I don't know what's going on behind my back in front of my face.
Look, leave it out, Dot. Oh, I can't get this screwing with these gloves on. Look, just because I've had a fling occasionally, there's no need to... Here, hang on to that.
Look, I don't mind her taking over in the act, but I won't have her taking my fella.
But she's not taking me. Look, she's leaving at the end of the week, and as far as I can make out, she's taking my act with her. I mean, she's joining that so-called young illusionist, Michelle. I mean, it's taken me a lifetime to perfect all them tricks.
Illusions, dear, not tricks. And why do you always insist on doing up that screw when we check the bulbs?
Because, madam, once I've checked both those bulbs with the radio remote control, I want to make sure that it's screwed up. As I've always said, routine means security.
Well, Inspector, if that's not a motive, I'd like to know what is.
In view of what I've just heard, Mr. Zavaroni, perhaps you wouldn't mind waiting a few moments longer.
And they say there's loyalty backstage.
I've had a thought, sir.
Oh, no. Yes?
Well, it's only a theory, but Mr. Babington said he got that football result from the 10 o'clock news. Now, he could be lying and got it really from the 9 o'clock news on the other channel.
Which finishes at 9:25.
Correct, sir.
Brilliant, Sergeant. Excuse me, sir. One thing I've been curious about. This pen of yours is a screwdriver.
So? I'm an electrician.
Which is a perfectly good reason for having one.
All right. If you think that you know who switched the bulbs, compare notes with anybody that you're watching with, and we'll see who's right later on. Meanwhile, panel, you can now choose any action replay that you like if you think it will help you identify a clue. Patrick, what would you like to see again?
Oh dear. Don't like this one. I'd like to see the bit where Fred Zagablioni, what's his name? Zeppelini. At the beginning of his flashback, where the young lady comes back, the princess comes in.
Right.
Please.
Yes, Lisa.
Yes, I'd like to see the bit where Mrs. Willis was swapping the bulbs.
Mrs. Willis was
Putting the new bulb in.
swapping the bulb, putting the new bulb in. All right, yes. Molly.
Could I see the bit where Thompson comes onto the stage for the first time?
Yes, of course you may. Roy.
I'd like to see the scene between Tony and Mary, where Tony admits taking the cream off Big Eddie's top.
Right. Skimming the cream off Big Eddie's top. Right. While we're finding those excerpts, let's have one question from each of the panel. Patrick, a question, please.
Yes. Bob Thompson, please. The swarthy man in the dark glasses. You're an electrician. Yeah, so that means obviously you know a lot about electrical things. Can you just tell me what... how long had Princess Tara left you?
Oh, about a year.
About a year. What was her occupation before she left you?
Oh, she used to do anything. She was a barmaid and
Yeah.
anything that came along.
Can I just ask you, you said that you arrived at the place and you saw a poster. That's how you found it. Was a poster?
I saw a poster in the town.
Yeah. And it must have said Princess Tara or something, mustn't it? Did she always call herself Princess Tara?
No, but I'd heard that she'd got this job and she'd gone up to, North and was calling herself Tara.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yes. Lisa.
Yes, Mr. Babington, Tony Babington, you said you saw the result of the football on the news at 10, didn't you? Well, quick, who is the newscaster?
Angela Rippon. No, it's not her. It's, it's the other one, Anna Ford, you know? Tasted piece. Right, nice one.
Right. Yes, can you also tell me why do you carry a screwdriver in your pocket when your toolkit is underneath the table, just by the side of you?
Well, you know, love, I'm a stage manager, aren't I? I mean, I might need it any time. So I keep one handy.
Yes, thank you very much.
That's obvious, isn't it?
Molly.
Ah, Mr. Thompson. Now, have you seen this act ever before?
No.
And have you ever been backstage before at this particular club?
No.
In that case, I'm interested to know why you didn't just wait until your wife came off stage.
Well, I'd like to have seen her before the show, you see, so I went back to try and catch her before the act.
Yes, thank you.
Molly is not happy about that. Roy.
I'd like to ask a question of Signor Zeppelini. Do you drive a car?
Yes, I drive a car.
I gave up driving because I couldn't tell red from green. Now, in that close shot we saw of the lights on the night of the fatal event, green should have turned up on which side?
On the right side.
I thought it turned up on the left, Signor Zeppelini.
Well, it happened so quickly, you know.
Yes.
What are you after, Roy? You whispered, aren't you?
Yes, quite right. Yes, Patrick. Oh, ready now for the first replay. The first replay is for Molly Sugden. You wanted to see Bob Thompson coming up onto the stage to take part in Zeppelini's act. And so once more, the vanishing Princess Tara before your very eyes.
Senor Bob, good, good. Now, we have never met before, no? Good. Would you like to check the handcuffs on Princess Tara's wrists for me to make sure they are secure? And the blindfold, you happy with the blindfold, sir? Good. Now, before the princess steps inside the cabinet, would you care to check that?
Yes, Molly. Did that help you at all?
Yes, I think it did. Thank you.
Would you like to ask any questions about it or leave it for the moment?
No, I asked already.
You have. Yes, Patrick.
Yes, I'd like to ask Dottie. Can I call you Dottie? Dottie? Your husband said, I think you quoted, you were quoted as saying that your husband always insisted on screwing up the things after he'd seen the lights.
Yes.
Why on this particular occasion, when he was a bit late and he asked you to do it, did you not do it?
Because I was very upset because we just had a row. I mean, it just went completely out of my head.
That was a tiff, wasn't it? Not a row.
No, it was a row. We had
Didn't he
quite
have
lot
a
of them,
quotation, which I wrote down here? It says, routine means security.
Yes.
And wasn't it very dangerous to leave that open like
I
that?
suppose it was, but as I said, I was quite upset, really.
Yes, emotionally upset. I think that's reasonable enough.
Yeah.
Yes, Lisa.
Oh, yes. Sergeant Ross. You said that Tony Babington's remote control TV thing could have worked. That's your theory. Was your theory whether it could have worked the lights? Is this in fact a viable theory?
I suppose it is, yes. I don't know about electrics and all that. I just had a thought.
You didn't check it out in any way. Find out if you could have been right.
No.
Right.
That's the end of that conversation. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Yes. Molly, are you now free?
No. I'm free, Mr. Pertwee. Mrs. Willis. Now, I understand that at one time, when, like the rest of us, you were younger and slimmer, you were part of the act.
Yes,
Is
I
that
was.
so?
Yes.
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 And now the glamour is gone.
I'm afraid so, yes.
And all you've got to do is stuff rabbits up his jumper. Thank you.
In 3 minutes, too. Yes. Very fast stuffing. Yes. Oh, ready for the next replay. The next replay is for Patrick. You asked for the part of Zeppelini's flashback when Princess Tara comes on to test the radio remote control equipment. Either that or you just wanted to see her equipment. Have a look.
Don't fuss me, doll. I've been doing it with you for 6 months and I'm hardly likely to get it wrong in me last week. Handcuffs off. Red coming up.
Right.
Oh, the marvels of science. One day, this radio remote control thing will go wrong and I'll get top of the pops.
Top of the what?
Yes, Patrick. You seem to enjoy that.
I did only want to see her again, actually.
Yeah, just to see
Can
the
I ask
equipment.
Zeppelini? Zeppelini?
Zeppelini.
You said earlier that she hid the... Where, will you tell us? Where did she hide this buzzer thing?
In the left cup.
In the left cup.
The left cup. You know which cup we're referring to.
Yes, and on that extract there, we saw she took it from the left cup. Now, we can assume that it was... Can I just ask, Inspector, did you examine the body?
Yes, sir.
Did you examine the lady's
cup?
I'm very interested in something that was in her left cup.
I know what you're talking about.
Was there anything in her left cup that shouldn't have been, or should have been?
Not to the best of my knowledge, no.
Well, I mean, was there an
like a spoon or a
extraneous,
couple of lumps of sugar or something?
object? Was the buzzer in a...
No, it wasn't at the time, no.
Oh, I see.
Right. Roy Plumley.
Bob Thompson, when Nancy left you, did you have a row?
Not really, no. We'd have a few tiffs as, you know, the past week. But not really. She just got up and went off and said she was going to Hollywood.
Hollywood?
Aye. You know, the Hollywood Club Diggle.
I wondered where I'd seen her before.
Yes, Lisa.
Was that the buzzer?
Oh, it was a buzzer. Thank you for telling me. Yes, I get so excited with this game I can't hear the buzzers. This is your replay. You asked what is actually another part of Zeppelini's flashback when Dottie replaces the green bulb. So if any of you are into green bulbs, this is your bit. Have a look.
Right. Now test it.
Thank God for that. Come on, we're running late.
Yes, Lisa.
Yes, Dottie. What did you do with the bulb that didn't work after you changed them round?
I threw it in the waste of the basket underneath.
Right. And you took the screwdriver with you, didn't you, when you went back to your dressing room? You put it in your bag?
Yes.
Yes, you did. Did you suspect your... I've got a few questions for you. So, do you suspect your husband of having a relationship with Nancy?
Yes, certainly.
Yes, you did, yes. And also, now that she's dead, will you be taking over in the act at all?
What do you think, dear?
Well, probably, yes.
Probably, yes.
Well done.
Yes, Patrick.
Can I ask Tony, Tony Babington, you're the stage manager?
Yes, mate.
And yet, when you... mate. Is that the correct terminology?
That'll do. Mate will do.
When you were asked... when you were asked to hand the screwdriver over to assist your governor in the doing up the box, you gave him the wrong one.
Well, I don't know what kind of screw it is, you know. He just said, give me a screwdriver. So I looked at the racing form and I got a screwdriver in my pocket. I said, give me a screwdriver. I know it's the wrong size, do I?
Ah.
Yeah, there we have a buzzer for the next replay. This is yours, Roy. You asked for a rerun of Tony and Mary revealing how they were skimming the cream off Big Eddie's profits. It sounds strange, but that's what they were doing.
Have you done anything about it yet?
Hang on, love, just checking me lighting cues.
Never mind checking them. Have you checked she's got proof?
Yes. And she has. Look, unless we cut her in for 50%, she's going to go to the law.
Well, for God's sake, Tony, give it to her then.
I can't, I ain't got it. If I cream off any more, Big Eddie's going to notice, and then never mind the law.
Yes, Roy, Molly.
Well, Mary, now you were painting that little steamroller for the dog act.
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking, what does a steamroller doing in a dog act?
Well, it's quite a small one, and one of the dogs gets on it and sort of, puts his paws up and scoots.
Sounds very dangerous. I'd never let my pussy do that.
Mary,
Yes, Roy. Roy Plummer.
What colour were you painting the steamroller?
What colour were you painting the steamroller?
Green.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to carry on with Mary, actually.
I'm sure you would. Would you ask a question?
When you were waiting at the door, after they'd all gone, you were the only person left, weren't you? If we were to believe... You're having an affair with Tony, is that right?
Yes.
Yes. So you can assume that he's a trustworthy person and always tells the truth?
Well, not always, but generally.
Yeah. If we were to believe him, then the alibi period is there was him and the magician and was the magician's wife there? You know when he opens the door, when he gets the call, when he goes round to call.
While you're sorting that out, Roy is anxious to get a question in here. Yes, Roy.
Mary, you were blackmailing Tony, is that right?
I was blackmailing Tony.
Yes.
No,
What?
Nancy was.
Nancy was blackmailing Tony.
Yeah.
Yes,
Princess
Princess Tara was
Princess
blackmailing-
Tara was,
yes, was blackmailing
Tony. What was your interest in Tony? Were you going off with him eventually?
Well, we're together now.
You're together now already?
Yeah.
Shop! Yes, that is the end of questioning. Time is up. That's all the questions I'm going to allow for tonight. So, panel, I want you now to write down whodunit and any clues that you may have noticed. And as usual, I'm going to give you viewers a chance to see a part of the act just one more time. Now, nobody here in the studio will see it, so see if it helps you confirm your suspicions or not.
Here. You ain't screwed the front on a light box.
I don't know why Fred fusses so about routine.
Yeah, you're right. If he is that fussy, why don't you look after it himself?
Now, what you've got to work out is who else could have known about that, or not known. Now, panel, may I have your cards, please? Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Molly. Lisa. Patrick. What, no star on the back? Oh, superstar. I might have known. Well, you can't change your minds. I've got the cards. All right, Patrick. Who done it and why?
Well, it must have been someone who was very familiar with the princess. And when I say very familiar, I mean very familiar, because I think the person had to remove something from her cup. And I think that person, I'm afraid, is a rubby, Bob Thompson, the electrician. Knew all about electrics, and I think he arrived there earlier, and that thing, he may have overheard that thing. It might have been true, but I think he went up to see his missus. He, in fact, was probably the Michel the magician.
I see.
He'd already got the magic.
So basically, Bob Thompson.
Bob Thompson, yes.
Thank you very much indeed. Lisa, who done it?
Well, I think it's Mr. Zeppelini himself. I think he did it. And I think because she was leaving him for another act, and also I think she finished the affair, and he was a bit upset about that, he wore gloves, I think, to get rid of the prince. Mind, I'm not too certain whether he switched the bulbs round. But anyway, even if he didn't, or he did, he knew where the bulbs were. So when... Oh, dear. So when it went green, he would have ignored it anyway, because... No, I'm sorry.
It's lovely.
I'm getting totally...
Oh, I am enjoying it.
Oh, dear. Sorry.
Thank you very much indeed. We're in a welter of confusion. Thank you very much. Molly Saxer.
No, I think it was Zeppelini. I mean, anybody who wears a dressing gown like that is clear. But I agree about he should have known where the green light was, and the light came on in the wrong place, and whatever colour it was, he should have known it was on in the wrong place. And I agree about the gloves. I had that point down. You got it first. And the motives, because hell hath no fury like a sorcerer scorned.
Thank you, Molly. Roy Plumley.
Well, all the way through, I was quite convinced it was Tony Babington, but I couldn't see his motive. And then I realised, of course, I got the story wrong. It was Nancy who was blackmailing him. And all that nonsense he was talking about watching the bit at the end of the football game. Well, football games, it's an international. It didn't start until 7:45. I don't see he could have seen the end of it.
I see.
I think it was Tony Babington. I will bet on it.
Will you?
How much? I'll be very interested to have a little bet on that. Well, that was very interesting indeed. Now, let's see if any of you are right. Now, will the real whodunit now stand up, please? Aha! Oh, so, there's a turn-up for the book. Not one single person got it right. That's very rare. Patrick, what happened?
You should never trust a woman.
Well, they all got it wrong. Very unusual circumstances. Right now, I wanted to follow this very closely so that you can see how it had to be Mary Jackson. Zeppelini and his wife took at least 3 minutes to get the rabbits tucked in, so they couldn't have done it. Tony saw Dottie Willis leave the light box undone, so it's hardly likely that if he switched the bulbs, he'd screw it up again. And he wouldn't bother to wipe the fingerprints off his own screwdriver, would he? Now, the husband, Bob Thompson, didn't get backstage. And even if he did, how would he know what to do with the bulbs? But if you remember, Mary Jackson heard Zeppelini tell his wife that he always screwed up the catch. Routine is security, so Mary naturally screwed it back on when she switched the bulbs. Now, she wiped the fingerprints off the bulbs and Tony's screwdriver and then replaced it in his toolkit. Of course, she didn't go through the past door at all. When you think about it, her alibi in the loo just doesn't stand up. Everything else we spotted was a red herring, I'm afraid. Now, next week, we'll be looking into the stars through Madame Maria Ortega's crystal ball. And one thing I can see is that Madame Ortega will be going up to the big crystal ball in the sky during the first minute of the program. So it's good night from our panel and cast. And from me, one last word of advice. If you insist on stepping into a cabinet and letting someone stick swords into it, please make sure that you're not there when he starts. If you see what I mean. So wherever you are, or rather wherever you've all gone to, good night.